Welcome, luxury enthusiasts, to the Luxury Travelers Podcast, hosted by Rodney George. The ultimate passport to opulent destinations, extravagant experiences, and unparalleled indulgence. Whether one is a seasoned jet setter or daydreaming of the next lavish getaway, the Luxury Travelers Podcast has it all covered. So buckle up and prepare for a journey into the lap of luxury. Now, your host.
Well, good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, whatever time it is when you're finally getting around to watching this. I don't have a guest today because today we're talking about singles cruising. And I thought it would be crazy for me to have a guest when we're talking about cruising for single people who don't have or don't want to have a traveling companion. Early in my career, people would call up and they go, I want to go on that group thing you have, but I don't want to pay twice, because you see in the cruise industry, most cruise lines and most every ship and sail date, the revenue management team at the cruise line is basing double occupancy. In other words, there's two people in that room. So many times, most of you who are single get into a situation where you either have to not go or pay for two people, even though there's one of you. So I had a lady one time ask me, well, can you match me up with somebody? And I said, no, ma'am, that is not our forte. And I don't want to open that can of worms. And you really don't want to do that. Even if somebody offers you, well, you can just go with me. How well do you have to know that person to sleep this far? I mean, it's twin beds, I grant it, but it's this far apart. You're sharing the same bathroom, the same lavatory, the same closet. Nah, you don't want to do that. So almost every week or 10 days, we get a call from someone going, how do I find out what the single cruise opportunities are? Now, I'm not talking about a cruise ship full of singles, okay? I'm talking about reduced all the way down to zero, or a reduced to 25 or 50% single supplement. So if the cruise was $5,000, you typically would pay $10,000, so you got two people going. But reduced single supplement at zero would mean you only pay $5,000 for yourself. At 150%, it only means you'd pay another $2,500 not to have a roommate. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. We're not getting in the singles cruise business, because that leads to more heartburn than this particular old guy can handle, okay? But what we do want to talk about is explain to you that that single supplement rate can be as low as zero and no higher than 150%. So what we're going to do is we're going to start a texting program. And we're going to have a texting program where we know we've identified who our people are that don't like to share a room. I have a client that she will share a room, but it has to have two bathrooms. Well, you know how many rooms are on all the ships out there that have two bathrooms? The answer is less than 0.1%. So this is for somebody who doesn't want to share a room, in particular a lavatory, with someone else. So we're going to set up where we'll make it real easy for you here today. And that is that you're going to be able to just send a message to a text number. And I'm going to give it to you here before we go. But first, I wanted to tell you a little bit about some of the major luxury brands that do offer low or no single supplement rates. And it kind of starts out with our great friends over at Tauck, who do a number of river cruises. And on the rivers of Europe, they have what they call Category 1 rooms. They're on the lower level, but that doesn't mean you're above the waterline. Okay, it does mean you're above the waterline, but they're single cabins. They're made for a single individual. They're only 150 square feet, but they have a bed, a nice bed. They have a color TV. They have a bathroom complete with a lavatory, shower. It's got everything that you'd want, but it's only half the space. But you only pay for one person. So take a look at Tauck and look at the diagram that's on the screen right now, and it'll show you those 6 or 8 cabins on the lower level of almost every Tauck River boat. Those are single cabins. Now, yes, you can put 2 people in there if last minute somebody decides they want to go with you, but 2 people in 150 square feet is kind of tight. So I would encourage you to also, if you're going to do a river cruise with Tauck, to book early, because when there's only 6 or 8 of these rooms on a ship, they go pretty quick. Next is Regent. Regent sends us a text message or an email every few days announcing sailings that have no or low being 25 to 50%, single supplement. The reason that cruise lines do this is fairly simple. They have typically a sail date that not quite generating the interest that they had anticipated. And so they've come to the realization, I say they, the cruise industry, and in particular, the revenue management department at these major luxury brands, has come to the conclusion that, hey, we're better off to have a person in that room than for it to go out with 0 people in that room. And so they'll offer 8, 10, 12, 30 different sailings at a time that have low or no single supplement. Regent is very good at getting that information out to us. And if you sign up for the text program, we'll not only send you a text, that'd be a wake-up call, but we'll send you an email that has a list of all those sail dates. We're going to send you the text message first, because you cannot believe the number of times every single day I say, well, I sent you an email last week on this. Oh, I don't think I got it. And I go, my back of my mind's always saying, maybe you didn't get it, but my best guess is you didn't read it. So I sent it to them again. So on this, because time is of the essence, when these cruise lines announce these low or no single supplement rates, they go pretty quick, as you might imagine. So we're going to send you an email with a listing of all the ship and sail dates that are included, and we're going to send you a text message. Look at your email right away, because we just sent you some single supplement, some reduced single supplement cruises by whatever the brand happens to be. Seabourn is another luxury cruise line that often has a whole list of ship and sail date and itineraries that they're offering a reduced single supplement on. And for those of you who haven't watched all of our podcasts in the past, if you'll go back and look at Explora, you'll see that we talk a little bit about that. But more importantly, a lot of you don't know who Explora is. Maybe you know who Crystal is, or Seabourn or Regent, but you may not know who Explora is yet. So go back and take a look at that podcast, and I think you'll have a real good glimpse at the newest player on the playing field called luxury cruising out on the high seas. I think you'll find that these are not at all places that you don't want to go. As a matter of fact, I think you'll find almost all of them places that you either want to visit or that you've been there and you want to go back, but you just don't have anybody that wants to go or that likes to travel or that likes to cruise. We have a lot of people like that. Personally, I'm a cruiser. I've been a cruiser since I was probably in my early 30s, when we used to go on a cruise with the St. Louis Cardinal baseball team every year in January or February. It was January. 115 cruises under my belt. I love cruising. I love it because I pack and unpack one time and I wake up somewhere different every single day. To me, there's nothing like it. So if you like cruising, in particular luxury cruising, and you don't always have somebody that's ready to go when you are. And that's another thing too. Some people have different lifestyles, different budgets. They may or may not tell you that they don't want to spend the money. But on the other hand, if you both could go and you both could have your own rooms and your own lavatory, etc., then other people might be inclined to travel with you. So you can be the hero among your men's group or ladies group or whatever it is. What's the game everybody plays now? I can't even think of the name. Mahjong. Your Mahjong group. Maybe you get some ladies that really want to go, but they don't like sharing a room with people that they don't know quite that well. So the single supplement, reduced single supplement cruises may be a real sweet spot that you could get your whole gang and find a place on the ship. And when the days you're at sea or the days you're in port and you get back from your excursions early, just set up your mahjong table and get with it. So I've about bloviated myself out of time and information here today, but I did want to tell you that if you will text single, just that word, text single to the number that's on your screen right now, SINGLE, all lowercase, just text single to the number that's on your screen. And Michelle, one of our executive concierges, will put you on that list so that starting as early as next week, we'll start putting this information out to you so that you can see what's available from the world of cruising for those of you who don't want to pay for two people when there's only one of you going. Again, that number is on the screen, and you just text the word single to that number and we'll get you on that list. You know, from time to time on the podcast, and since I have a couple of minutes left here, I refer to my friend Dr. Philip Randall up in Atlanta, who's a PhD in gerontological studies. And I always talk about enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. And several people have said, what's the whole thing? Well, I thought I would share the whole thing with you here, and maybe you'll like it as much as I do. This is from Dr. Philip Randall. He wrote this about 40-something years ago, and it goes like this. And everything is further than it used to be. It's twice as far from my house to the bus line, and they've added a hill just recently, I noticed. And buses don't stop for long either, but I've given up trying to run after them because they get away faster than they used to. I've noticed that it's further from the first floor to the second floor, and it's become difficult to take 2 steps at a time. Have you noticed the small type that they're using today? Why, one has to squint just to make out the news. No, it's ridiculous to suggest that someone my age needs glasses, but it's the only way I can find out what's going on without somebody reading to me. And that isn't much help either, because everyone seems to speak in such a low voice anymore that I can scarcely hear them. Even the weather is changing. The winters are getting colder and the summers hotter. Even the rain is much wetter, and I have to wear boots. And the windows, well, the way they make them today, the drafts are incredibly severe. People are changing too. For one thing, they are younger than they used to be when I was their age. However, people my age are so much older than I am. You know, I ran into a friend the other night at a party, and she had changed so much, she didn't know me. Put on some weight, she said. It's this modern food, I told her. I got to thinking this morning while I was getting dressed, and I looked at my reflection in the mirror, and you know what? It seems they don't use the same kind of glass in the mirrors anymore. So enjoy yourself. It truly is later than you think. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful afternoon. And be sure to send us that text message that just says the word single. And you'll get a reply back that says you've been added to the list, and we'll start sending you opportunities out. And when you find something you want, just give us a call and we'll take care of all the rest. Thanks for tuning in, and share this podcast with your friends. And if you really want to get the cutting edge on everything, just go to YouTube under the Luxury Travelers Podcast and click subscribe, and you'll get it automatically every Wednesday morning so you can have it with your coffee. That's all I've got for now. Think singles. Bye for now.
Thanks for joining us on the Luxury Travelers Podcast. For more information, head on over to luxurytravelerspodcast.com to connect with our team or leave us a message. Until next time, safe travels and savor the extraordinary.